Hi everyone, it's Gina. Thank you so much for stopping by. Some of you have noticed that it has been a while since I've posted a video, and there is a really good reason for that. I recently lost my daughter, and it has been just a tremendous blow, but I have started to want to express myself creatively. So this is something that I did, and it turned out so well, I really wanted to share it. It's pretty simple, and I made it with just a piece of wood that I got from the dollar store. And I tried this out and I love it. So today I thought we would make a companion piece to this one. So I do hope you'll join me, and let's get started. All right, I've broken this down into 3 sections. The first thing you'll want to do is prepare your wood. Sometimes when you get things, scraps of wood or little pieces like this from the dollar store, it can be kind of rough around the edges. So you might want to take a piece of sandpaper and just kind of sand off those really rough edges, give it a relatively smooth surface to work on, and that's really all. So once you've prepared your surface, the next thing to do is prepare what you're going to put on your surface. I created my drawings on tissue paper, and I have other videos where I've done this, but I really love this method of being able to draw art and apply it. Tissue paper is quite thin, but I was surprised at how well it held up. I didn't get any holes, even from going over some areas multiple times. I mean, I wasn't really pushing down super hard, but I did start out with a light drawing in pencil. After I used the pencil to get an idea of the composition, I went over the drawing with an Archival pen. And the one I used was this one is Bianyo Microline pen. It's waterproof, fade-proof, light-fast, and archival quality. So just make sure you do use a pen that doesn't bleed when it gets wet. So once I drew it on and I put the ink on, I stopped at that point because I wanted to show you how I added the color. And believe it or not, I used watercolor. It did bleed a little bit, but I truly didn't mind. If you don't like that, then don't use watercolor. You'll need to use something else. You could probably use permanent markers, acrylic paint. So I wasn't sure how that was going to work, but it really turned out pretty well. It bled through a little bit, but not enough for me not to like it. So I'm going to use watercolor again and hope I get the same good results. Well, we'll go ahead and start with the petals. Let's go with the orange one. Maybe I'll do blue. Maybe I'll put the blue on top on this one, and then the orange can be down here. Okay, and we'll tap off just a little bit of the extra. I don't want it too wet. Let that dry. The blue looks like it's already dry. So it dries fairly quickly if you don't use tons of water. And this is just some parchment paper on the back, so it's nothing that's absorbent. I had a lot of line shading in my drawing. Of course, you don't need to have that much. Maybe you want the color to come through even more, and so you might want to use less line shading, ink line shading than I did. It's up to you. It's your own personal style, so you do whatever looks right to you. It looks like over here it's bleeding a little bit. I'm not worried about it. You can barely see it. Same thing with this. This is going to be a darker color, and honestly it's fine if that orangey color is in the mix. So far we're good. I'm going to just let it sit and dry, and I'll be right back. All right, that didn't take very long. I think I'll focus on the cones right now, and I was trying to think of what I used. I believe I used some sepia, probably a little bit of neutral black, threw some yellow ochre in there, possibly even some burnt sienna and raw sienna. Just any kind of combination of those colors should get you where you want to be. Start with some sepia. Need to bring this down because there's kind of a glare. I'm having a hard time seeing. There we go. I have to color this light. Guys, the light in my studio is still so bad. Oh wow, look, that really bled. The other ones aren't doing that. I wonder if it could be. Let's dry off the back of this a little bit. Maybe I can dry it up a little bit with my brush or just blend it out maybe. Kind of looks like a shadow. Don't you love it when a boo-boo works out in your favor? It's like, okay, I want to take a little bit of black. Give it some nice contrast. So I think I can go ahead and move on to the stem. Now, I did a lot of line shading, so you can barely even see any light color, any of the tissue paper in the stem, but I'm going to go over it with the green anyway, because you'll be able to tell the difference. You may have noticed when I was coloring the petals, I still colored over the black inked part with the watercolor that I was using, because I think it does, like, to me it makes a difference. You can kind of tell it's not just that flat black, it does have a little bit of that color come through. For this one, I drew out a little bee, and I want to go ahead and paint my little bee. I think I'll go with the Cad Yellow Medium. Maybe I'll go over his wings with Buffy color. Now we are done adding color. We need to let it dry. While the watercolor is drying, I thought we would go ahead and work on our wood block. As you can see, it's pretty dark, and I wanted the image to show up. So on this one, I used a white acrylic paint and just put it over top. I didn't worry too much about getting full coverage because I wanted it to look old, but I did want something other than just the dark wood. I think on this one, I want to try and use gesso. This is mostly dry. I did take my heat gun to it, and while I was doing that, I took my brush and grouted out the little ridges. I do want paint in there, but I didn't want it so thick. I figured it would take a lot longer to dry, so you missed that part, but that's all I did. Now for a second layer, I think I am going to switch back to the acrylic paint. And this was one I bought, I don't even know how many years ago. It is still good, so I've used that. Start out with a few globs. Okay, so let's just swish this around. Now I am trying to paint in accordance with the grain, so you might want to keep that in mind. And it really looks like I should have sanded this one a little bit better. I don't know if you can see that, but it doesn't look nice and smooth like the other one did. So that may come back to haunt me later, but we'll keep moving forward. I mean, what am I out $1? It's not if I mess it up. You know, if it doesn't turn out the way I like it, I'll do it again. Alright, there we go. Now comes the slightly tricky part, getting the image from the tissue paper onto the wood block. Now, This one, I do have 2 layers, and I'll do 2 layers on this one as well, because not only do I have the image that I drew, but if you look, there's a little bit of stamped tissue paper in the background, just to add a little bit of interest, and I really like how that looks. So I created another one, but this time I created a background large enough to where I could just put the whole thing and just lay it right over the wood. So that's what I'm going to do. And I am not a pro at not having bubbles and wrinkles. There are a few wrinkles. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's a couple of wrinkles, but overall it's not too bad. But, you know, we'll give it a go. What I use is some Mod Podge matte, and I have 2 bottles. This is straight Mod Podge, and this is one where I had a little bit left and I just went ahead and mixed it with water to water it down. And that's what I'm going to use. It's at least 1:1, maybe more because I didn't measure. It's fairly watery. Let's see, maybe I'll start from the top and go to the bottom. Let's see how that works. And since this has print, I want to try to get the print to line up so that hopefully I can get the image, I can get it on here straight. But we'll see. I think in the other one, I went into the creases just a little bit. I wonder if I should do that. Kind of got in a rhythm there toward the end. Now you can do the sides. I didn't on the first one, so I'm not going to do it on this one. It's funny because that's typically something I would do. I like it to go all the way around. I didn't do it on this one, so I'm going to forego and not do it on this one either. Sometimes I even put a little bit on my finger if I've got bubbles, and that helps me to push the bubbles out. Wrinkles as well. That is mostly dry. Let me put that right side up before I forget. So, okay, that is totally something I would do. I'm going to try to pull off the edges. There we go. You definitely want to make sure that this layer is adhered really well, because you're going to put another layer on top and you don't want any of it to come unstuck. There's probably a better way to do this. Okay, I'll probably come back with scissors and snip that off. So I took the scissors and I snipped off the edges. For the most part, looks like I missed a little. But I think this is just a little darker than I want it. I might take a little gesso and just knock that ink back just a little bit. Just hit the darkest areas. There we go. I mainly want to do this because I don't want the background to compete with my main focal point. And this gesso is the perfect thing to do that. You can also do that with the acrylic paint as well. Just be careful that the acrylic paint that I was using is a lot heavier, so it wouldn't take as much, because you don't want it to completely go away. It's still not exactly like the other. And that's the thing, when you want to do multiple pieces to have like a companion piece, it's really best to do it at the same time that you do the original, because it can be really difficult to recreate that exact look, the exact colors that we used, all that. So if you know ahead of time that you would like to have a couple, like make a series of pictures, then I really suggest you at least draw them out, color them, and create your backgrounds at the same time. Okay, here is my image. Now on the first one, I had cut them out because they were overlapping. This one I drew out to where it's all separate. So this may be a mistake, but I was thinking of trying to do what I did with the first one and keep it all on one page and try to lay it down that way. Now, granted, I did struggle a little bit with this one, but I kind of got in a flow, so I'm hoping I'll be able to do this one just like that and it will go well. And this is the plaid Mod Podge brush, in case you're wondering. I have a couple of these with different sizes and I do really like them. Let me get it started so that I can make sure it's straight, and then I will probably flip it around like I did last time. You can tell when I go over the flowers, some of the yellow and the orange come off. Let's see how the blue does, a little bit. But while it's still wet, I just take my brush and pull up the color, and that removes it from the places that I don't want it to be. So far that's working pretty well. And I didn't really mind if the orangey yellow came up. And I think that's what prompted me to add some distressed oxide. And I'll do that for this one as well. So for all practical purposes, we're done. And if you like it bright white, just leave it. What I'm going to do is take my vintage photo, distress oxide, I still have some of the Mod Podge mixture on my brush, and I'm just going to kind of come in and add that color on the background. I'm starting to rip my tissue paper a little bit, so be a little more careful. We've done a lot of work on this house since we've been here, and we've been here a year. Can't believe it. We've done just a ton of stuff. Pretty much took over our lives there for a little while. That's partly why I haven't been posting as much the past year. This move just was something else. House needed a lot of attention, a little more so than we had imagined, but it's coming along. One day I'll have better lights up here. Hopefully it doesn't look too bad when you guys see the videos because I adjust it while I'm editing, but it is an issue that I need to address. Oh, yeah, I think I need to stop. I'm starting to mess up, and that got really close. No, that was my image. I'm done. Before I wipe the whole image off. Okay, let's let that dry and just see where we are. It's dry, and I've taken scissors and I've tried to go around the edge. I can't get it as clean as I did this one, and I have no idea why. The alignment of the moon, maybe? I just don't know. But I still have to add my bee, and I want to add my name. You should always put your name on your artwork. And you can see it right there, Romeo, which is my last name. That's how I sign my art. I think I want him just about right there. He's on his way to this little flower. Maybe not in the crease. That's probably not a good idea. Let's see. Maybe he's coming in for a landing. Like that. Oh, isn't he cute? Oops. Now, to add my name. Alright, I've got my name. I'm gonna wet it down give it a little bit of color. So it's the next night. I had a little bit of technical difficulty, but I think I got it figured out, and I don't think I lost any footage, so yay! I'm a little rusty recording. So everything is dry, and we can take a look. As far as a companion piece, it's okay. Like I mentioned earlier, ideally you would make these at the same time so that everything will look the same. As far as the drawings, I think the drawings pretty much match. It's the same style. Backgrounds are a little different, and I think I did okay with the colors too. So overall, it's fine. I like it, and I hope you like it too. This is a fun project. It's very simple. It's very inexpensive. Like I said, I got these blocks at the dollar store. You can get the tissue paper at the dollar store, and for $2, plus the cost of a couple materials. I just used the Mod Podge and a brush and just your ink pen. Do make sure it's an archival quality so that it does not run if you're going to use watercolors. I got this at the dollar store as well. It's a little stand, and I have it sitting on this little stand. You can't obviously see it very well there, but it sits on this little stand on a shelf, and I just think it's adorable. I like these blocks because you can nail in those little toothy, jaggedy picture hanger things and hang it on the wall. Put some hooks in it and maybe some jute and a string, you know, put a string up there and hang it from the wall that way. Or you could do like me and sit it there like that. Of course, I look at this, and you can do the same process on this that we did on the wood. I actually may try it. I have another picture here that I drew, and I thought that might look really cute on this little stand. So I may try that, and if I do, I'll put a picture of it at the end. But for now, you can take a close-up look. I lost the yellow color in my bee, and I'm a little bummed about that. So that's what it looks like. There are a few little wrinkles. I'm fine with it, and I just thought it turned out really cute. So that's the project for today. I really appreciate so much all of you who continue to watch my videos and leave comments and just email to check in on me and find out where I've been. I do appreciate that. It's been a struggle lately, and I'm working through it. That's the best I can do, and that's all I can say about it right now. So I'll probably do a video more on the topic at another time. But for now, it really just felt good to be back in my craft room and doing something that I enjoy, and I certainly hope you enjoy this project as well. If you've stayed till the end, I really appreciate it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this project. You think you'll try it? Have you done something like this before? I hope you do try it. It was a lot of fun. But that's all for now. I'll see you in the next video.